Good morning. Happy 2022 and afternoon and evening. I have to say good afternoon now, John, because you're so many hours ahead of us now. Hey, Missy, nice to see you. And they're piling in. It is Wednesday, the 5th of January of 2022. Got it right. I'm your guy today, Glen Henderson. Coming to you from beautiful, brisk Houston, Texas this morning. Glad to see you. And it is the John Lavenia Success Mastermind. As before, just like last year, I always get a kick out of saying that. The John Lavenia Success Mastermind. Because, you say that and you get a sense of all the good this man has done, all the positive vibes that have been dropped into the world off the profundities tossed out among us by Reverend Lavenia. Reverend Lavenia, the man with the broom. Yes. He who would be great among you shall be your servant, or something like that. Good to see you, Catherine and John. And do you prefer Catherine, Kathy? What do you think?
I'm not particular.
Well, all right then. Just don't call you late for supper. I understand.
Exactly.
And Gail is here, steadfast, unmovable, loyal and faithful friend, our Gail. And Money Mama, how could we do this without the Money Mama? Lindsay is hanging around as always, and it is good to see all of us. How's your year starting off? How are things going for you? Is it full speed ahead, firing on all thrusters? Are you off to a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step kind of a start? Are you still getting ready to get ready? You know what I mean? There are such people, and I'm always curious about that, particularly as time passes and I gain experience. It is against my religion to use the O word. So I'm not getting old. Time is passing and I'm gaining experience and wisdom. That sounds better, right? So how do we start? There's so many sayings around this, right? But then you hear people say, well, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Well, start with good habits, and good habits will generally follow us if we work consistently. So there's one particular aspect of starting and continuing that I've been thinking about the last few days, and there's a couple of quotes. Both of them are, one of them is quite well known. The other I just came across recently, and they got me to thinking about one thing that I think all of us needs to keep in mind as we launch our 2022. What's your plan? No, that's not the quote. What's your plan? It's a question for me. What do you intend to accomplish this year? We've talked about this. Have you written it down? Have you got it in a journal or a notebook or in your iPad, your tablet, or you're on your computer in a list and a journal app in your computer or phone or some such thing? Have you got at least a place where you can refer to and go back and periodically review your progress toward whatever that goal is? I think that's important. Because if we don't know where we're going, how will we know when we get there? It's silly, right? But pick one thing, whatever your goal is. And here is the thought that has been rattling around in my brain the last couple of days, particularly this morning, around two quotes. One quite familiar. Benjamin Franklin. You remember who that was, one of our founding fathers here in the United States of America. Dost thou love life? then do not squander time, for that is the stuff life is made of. Okay, we hear that all the time, right? And we think, oh, well, why, yes, that's quite profound. Honey, hand me the remote. Our show is back on. Yeah? You see what I did there? And here is another one that is even more profound to me, and I heard this very recently. If you know or can guess where I heard this quote recently, don't say anything because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. This is a quote that was attributed to the great American novelist Jack London, who once said, "The proper function of man is to live, not to exist. I shall not waste my days in trying to prolong them. I shall use my time." Now, you know what? I'm going to read that again, because it hit me right square between the eyes. Sort of punched me in the face like Dr. Lavinia likes to do from time to time. Punched me right in the face with some truth, some profundity. The proper function of man is to live, not to exist. I shall not waste my days in trying to prolong them. I shall use my time. And that got me to thinking about what for me has been a rather embarrassing topic. Or is it embarrassing? It is what they used to call in the church service a very convicting topic for me, if you know what I mean. That is, in an average day, in an average week, how much time am I wasting? Ooh! Did that hit anyone else right between the eyes like it hit me? In an average day, average week, average month, how much time am I wasting? Now, it doesn't have to be anything, criminal or terribly destructive of myself or others. I'm not, talking about drugs or, going, nothing like that. Or how much time did you spend? And I'm not going to ask anybody to raise hands or volunteer answers. How much TV did you watch last week? Now, there are many fine programs on television and an eclectic approach, that is, choosing the programs that are really interesting to you, makes sense. That approach makes sense. But as Earl Nightingale used to say, millions of families have the televisions on all day. They're mesmerized by it. And when one thinks what one could be doing with that extra time, it makes one realize that it's much easier to win than we might have thought. So, let's take a minute. If you've got a pen and paper, I'm going to ask us to perform a small exercise. And you don't have to show this to anyone, and I'm not going to ask anybody to say, well, no, show me your list. No, come on, man. None of my business. There's only one person whose opinion counts on this, and that's yours. Take a list, take a notepad right now, and jot down a few things that pop into your head, activities, places you might go, conversations you might have, Well, let's get right down to the nitty-gritty. The nature of some of our current relationships, which, if we're to be honest with ourselves, currently constitutes a waste of our time. Top of my list, TV. I'm right there. Listen, I'll cop to it. One of the next things on my list, internet scrolling. Not work on social media project. Not, say, reaching out to people, a systematic approach to reaching out to people to talk with them about my product, my service, my opportunity, my business. Not that. I'm talking about, oh, that's interesting. Wow, that was cool what that guy said. Yeah. Wow, I didn't know you could make a basket from that far away. Ooh, isn't that cute? He's petting that little abused dog. Oh, that's so adorable. And now the doggy loves her. We're smiling because we're thinking, yeah, this guy. But I'm not bringing this up to point a finger at anyone or to accuse anyone of blowing off your day, scrolling the internet, point one finger, 3 pointed back at me, that whole deal. Sometimes the most difficult thing for each of us to engage in is complete, honest self-assessment. Oh boy, and sometimes it stings. By the way, keep taking notes. If something else comes to your mind, write it down. Jot it down. Where are some places in your life, some leaks, some time leaks in your life where time is going and being not used to fullest effect? And by the way, I am not with this exercise saying you've got to take your TV and throw it out the window and never watch again. No, not at all. Not at all. You got to sell your computer and no more internet. No. Now, some people do engage in what they call an internet detox or a social media fast, where they might take a day or a week or whatever period of time and have no interaction at all on social media. And for a particular reason, if they've chosen to do this for a particular reason, for a particular purpose, maybe there's a project they're working on where they know that spending a lot of time scrolling the internet it'll just blow the goal. It'll just blow too much time and they won't get that one thing done that they're shooting. That I can totally understand. And if it is something that you are interested in doing, something that you are willing to do for yourself, some sort of an internet fast and social media detox, have at it. What I would suggest is that each of us look honestly, look critically at our own use of time, at our current use of time. In other words, if you were a complete stranger, someone who doesn't know you, looking at your schedule, looking at your weekly, not your weekly calendar. Calendars are cute. Agendas are really nice and organized and professional and yeah, I'm doing the best. No. Someone to look at your current time usage log. John introduced an app to us some time ago. I believe it's called A tracker. Is that right, John? Well, when we get John back in the room, he'll tell us. There was an app that John introduced us to, I don't know, a couple of months ago, something like that, that was useful, that you introduced us to it, John, as an app that's useful in helping us to keep track of our time usage. Not to say, well, this is what I should be doing, and this is what I ought to do, and this is how I'm setting up my calendar now, my agenda, and I'm setting up my to-do list and my great goals and how I'm going to block out my time. Oh, no. All this A tracker, and I think that's what it was called, John, A tracker. All this app is designed to do is tell you where you are currently spending your time. I, believe it or not, I actually went to a 12-step group for a little while. No, I never had a problem with drinking or drugs or anything like that. It was actually called, this was at a point in my life when I was really, really struggling financially. And I thought I might be able to get some help from this group called Debtors Anonymous. Just DA, Debtors Anonymous. People who can't handle, who for some reason are not able to handle money or are constantly in debt and spending and, the type of thing, sort of being out of control when it comes to money and finances. And the very first thing that we were asked to do as part of this group was to get a little notebook, similar to this, a little pad, legal pad, however you want to do it. What they advised was the smallest possible pocket spiral notebook. Something that would fit in your shirt pocket. That small. With a little bitty pen, nothing fancy. Maybe a little big click. You remember the big click? Retractable pen, ballpoint, click, big click. Ballpoint pen. Just carry a teeny weeny little spiral notebook with a little click pen, simple thing. And during the course of your day, write down every time you spend money. Down to, back in those days, 35 cents for a newspaper, 25 cents for a newspaper, 50 cents, 75 cents for a candy bar, $1 for a cup of coffee, the $2 and $2.50 for a Subway token. Whatever, if you went to the clothing store and bought a new shirt and a pair of shoes, write it down. If you went out to dinner, if you go out to dinner with your wife, write down how much write down how much the bill was, including the tip. If you go to McDonald's, write it down. If you go out for a pint with the boys after work, write it down. Write down the tab, including the tips. So what was the purpose of this? Was the purpose of this to, you sorry loser, you can't handle it. Yeah, what's wrong with you? What do you mean spending all that money on booze and candy bars and everything? The point of the exercise, here's the key. The point of the exercise is, and what I'm recommending to you, aren't you getting really impatient? Glenn, would you go ahead and finish the sentence already? You ever get that feeling when I'm talking? Glenn, would you go ahead and, come on, man. The point of that exercise with the Debtors Anonymous teeny weeny spiral notebook, and the point of the exercise I've asked us to do here, write down your time wasters, areas where you would. The whole point is this: awareness. The point is not to criticize you or beat you down or browbeat you or punish you. And by the way, you don't get to punish yourself with this either. But, oh man, I'm such a loser. Oh, look at all this time I'm wasting. Golly, no wonder I can't get anything done. The point is awareness. The point is to simply to know where our time is going now, so that we can, over the course of time, begin to make better decisions concerning where we invest our time in the future. Does that make sense? If I know where it's going now, if I know where my time is going now, then I probably have a better idea at being able to make smart decisions about where I want my time to go tomorrow. That's all. And please, 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 cut yourself a break on this. Give yourself some grace. Cut yourself some slack. No one's allowed. You are not allowed to beat yourself up behind this time usage log. You are not allowed to go screaming at the lady in the mirror or the guy in the mirror. You are not allowed. Recriminations are not permitted here. Again, the whole point is awareness. So if you have, for example, at some point in the past downloaded that A-Tracker app that John introduced us to, who knows? Maybe it's time to haul it on out of mothballs and take it out for a spin. And just jot down, I'm going to start this today. How about that? Is that all right with you? I'm going to start this today because I do have this A-Tracker app here somewhere. And I will freely own the fact that when I first got it, oh, there it is, A-Tracker. Bingo! Remind me later, blah, blah, blah. There it is, A-Tracker. So, here's the deal. And I'm going to start this today. And I may show you my stuff. I may not. What I will do, what I will commit to you is that I will discuss with you on a future general session, let's say, what percentage of my time went into unproductive activities in the past. And as I gain awareness in this area, I'll share how my time usage improves over time. That is, putting less time towards unproductive activities. Again, not allowed to beat yourself up about this. Looking at you, John Novenia. No beating yourself up about unproductive time. It's simply to know what's going on. Because if you know what's going on, then you can change it. Can I get an amen? So, it is as simple as that. Take this week until our next glorious general session together. Take this week, track your time. Just track it. Don't evaluate it. Don't criticize it. No value judgments allowed. Again, no self-flagellation here. None of this mea culpa, mea maxima. No. Track your time. And if you'd like to discuss it with us next week, feel free to share as much or as little detail as you care to regarding what you discovered about your current use of time. And you may want to write these down again. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll drop them in the chat. How about that? The first one, here it is. Dost thou love life? Then do not squander time, for that's the stuff life is made of. And that is Benjamin Franklin. The second one, I love this one, Jack London. The chief function of man is to live, not to exist. I shall not waste my days in trying to prolong them. I shall use my time. That's good, isn't it? All right. I would love to hear from you. What's on your mind about this whole notion of time? I heard somebody say once, you ready for the Star Trek reference? Are you ready? Are you ready? Yes. Missy's like, bring it on. Bring it on. A Dr. Tolian Soren from the seventh Star Trek film, Generations. Dr. Soren said, time is the fire in which we burn. Ooh, that's a good one. But not quite, John was like, what the heck is he talking about? Time is the fire in which we... Come on, man. I prefer to think of time as Captain Jean-Luc Picard later said in the same movie. He says, I prefer to think of time as a companion that goes with us on the journey and reminds us to cherish every moment because they'll never come again. After all, number one, we're only mortal. I think I like the Jack London one best. The chief function of man is to live, not to exist. I shall not waste my day. This reminded me, John, when I heard this quote, this reminded me a little bit of you. I shall not waste my days in trying to prolong them. I shall use my time. That's powerful stuff. And I would love to hear your thoughts and your comment on this. And
I'll just say one little thing here. Mm-hmm. And I was listening the whole time, even though I'm running back and forth doing all this. But I remember something Earl Nightingale said is that most people tiptoe through life hoping to make it safely to death. And so the idea of prolonging, that doesn't mean throwing caution to the wind and being reckless either. Okay, but what you're talking about is order. I mean, all success is an orderly state as opposed to a random state, right? Completing what you start, creating order or maintaining order. And so you can't really do that without data, hence that app, right? Or, Debtors Anonymous, where's your money going? Same thing, and I haven't experienced it for myself, but so I've heard, same with like Overeaters Anonymous, where they log everything that goes in their mouth. They tend to eat less when they do that, right? Because you got to account for it. So accountability, which is akin to personal responsibility, is really what we're talking about. I think, with all the great intentions that people have, resolutions and New Year's and whatever, it's all like Ralph Emerson said, of what use to make heroic vows of amendment if the same old lawbreaker is to keep them. So anyway, I got a lot out of this, and I'm getting stuff put away. Yeah.
I'll be looking for the stacks of books presently. Yeah. Shelves full of excellent. Yeah, accountability, boy, John. That has become almost a dirty word in some circles to some people. You know what I mean? Because accountability means there's somebody there. What's wrong with you? Why are you doing that? Stop doing that. Go do this. I'm coming to think of accountability, particularly personal accountability, as having the courage to be aware of what I'm doing. And then further, having the courage to require myself to do what I have committed to do. Ooh, that's good. Accountability. Somebody should be writing this down. Accountability is the courage to be aware of what I am currently doing and the courage to require myself to do that which I've committed to. That's accountability for me. And accountability between persons, this is really a most profound level of relationship between people, isn't it? Because imagine giving someone permission to be aware of what you are currently doing, and then giving that same person permission to require you to do that which you have committed to. Ooh. That's, you know what that is? You know what that really is? In a business context, in a personal productivity, in the context of personal productivity, that is love. Because love, good to see you, Gail. Catch you next time, my dear. Because most of the time, or no, not most, I won't say that. I will say too often, we have allowed either ourselves or others to renege on our commitments when we knew that commitment was important to us, and we reneged on it anyway, or we allowed someone else to renege on it anyway. Does that make sense? And so the truly honorable, the truly loving thing to do for a friend is to, first of all, become aware of what they are currently doing, how they are currently progressing toward the given goal, and then to grant someone permission to require you to follow through and complete that which you've committed to. That is deep. Now, I know that some leaders, you might say, some coaches in various business professions would say, "Oh, listen, hey, I'm not anybody's guru. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to beat you up if you do or you don't." Okay. An absolutely valid and legitimate way to interact with someone that I'm coaching. Because we're all free moral agents, right? We're all, as the saying goes, grown-ass men and women. We can do what we want to do. We can do what we choose to do. This nature of relationship that I'm talking about it's almost like a next level sort of thing. This is the next level in commitment between two people. That is, again, I've given you permission. Here's what's going on. Here's how here's how I'm currently using my time. Oh, okay. So you're spending X amount of time doing this and X number of hours per week doing that. What about that thing, that goal that you'd committed to, that you and I talked about? How much time did you spend doing that? And what did you do with that time? Well, this and that and blah, 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 excuses and blah, blah, blah. Okay, you gave me permission to hold you accountable, whatever that means. Right now now that we have a different definition of accountability, or not different, but the way I'm looking at it. Okay, now you gave me permission to hold your feet to the fire on this one, right? So why are you blowing your time doing a XYZ when you know and you've already committed to doing ABC? What's going on? How can I help you get back on track? How can I help you course correct to get back into the groove of completing that goal completing that activity that you committed to? See, to me, that's real support. That's real coaching, real accountability. Maybe it might be an interesting project for each of us to find, if we haven't already found such a person to have in our life. Someone to whom we give permission to be aware of what we're doing, and to whom we give permission to require us to complete that to which we've committed. Hey, here's an idea. Start with the lady in the mirror. Start with the person in the mirror. And don't let yourself off the hook. Once you get to the point of awareness, right? Now, still tracking this week, right? This week, the assignment for this week, Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to track your time this week. Just track it. Again, no value judgments this week. Just track your time. I'm going to be really, really interested to hear what comes back. Yes, indeed. Thank you all so much for... Oh, by the way, let's have a little housekeeping, shall we? What's going on today? We are back to a full slate of activities, which is Groove-O-Matic. Hospitality Suite, right after us. Come on in. Say hello. I'll tell you, I've had some pretty groovy conversations in the Hospitality Suite. Books for Britain with our good friend Mandy Anderson this evening at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, John. Don't be logging in at 3. 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Wait, no. I just lied to you. That's 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Matter of fact, you probably should log in at 3. 3 o'clock Eastern Time. It's 2 o'clock Central Time. 3 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock p.m. UK time. Books for Britain with Mandy Anderson. Then the professor is back with us. Life and Business Tools, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. 1 a.m. 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I think it's 11 p.m. UK time. Life and Business Tools. We'll go by the 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can do your own conversion. 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Life and Business Tools with Professor Adrian Garner. And then the man, the myth, the scurrilous rumor, Glen Henderson. Yeah, I'm back this evening, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, networking magic. Who knows what profundities who knows what stuff may fall out of my mouth this evening. John, you are champing at the bit, man. You've got something to say.
Roster, I was here in that lineup, and I was like, man, what a day. Wednesdays are awesome.
I'm telling you.
So, yeah, good times. I'm going to attend as much of that as I can. I suggest everyone else does as well. So
absolutely. Yep. So running through it once again, Hospitality Suite right after this, 3 p.m. Eastern, Books for Britain with Mandy Anderson, 6 p.m. Eastern, Life and Business Tools with Adrian Garner, and then I am back tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern with Networking Magic. Thank you all so much for taking a few minutes, hanging out with us here in the general session. Now I've got to come up with a title for this. Let's see. I've got an idea. You'll probably see it later on in the agenda as this conversation is posted later on. Thanks again. Make it a fabulous day, John. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see the shelves full of books, man. This is going to be the greatest. All right, you guys. Have a good one, my friends. I will see you later on. Bye for now.